Hello, hello, welcome back to Guru Grit. My name is Monika, and this week we're going through the Edgar Cayce book series, which is just basically me going through the Edgar Cayce books that I own and answering your questions, whether they're given to me publicly or privately. I'll try to get to them all. And so today's topic is on hair loss, balding, and graying, and so basically scalp and hair health, how to have full luscious hair and so forth, and if you're losing it, what you can do about it. So this comment came through privately, I believe. And so if you want to ask me something, I've got two books here on the Edgar Cayce Remedies and Health Through Drugless Therapy. And I just go through them, and sometimes I go through the archives myself and try to find the solutions in better detail, and then I share them with you. So this is the third video that I'm making, and I hope that you find it helpful. So let's begin. So I mean, the highest accolade you could ever pay a person who's in service of others is to say, hey, I did what you said, and guess what? It works. And so I find it really, really heartwarming that here we have the author of one of them, Dr. Harold Riley, said, he writes that he can vouch for Cayce's cure for baldness in as much as he began growing new hair on his head at the age of 75. So if that's not just the bee's knees, then I don't know what is. So what does Edgar Cayce say is the cause of hair loss? He says it's the lack of activity through the glands that are secreting from the system the elements necessary to make for activity in those portions of the thyroids that affect the circulation of those portions of the system. So poor circulation. Another thing that's really important to understand as well is that women are much more increasingly affected by hair loss. So things like stress, the modern lifestyle, and the diets that we have now are actually causing women to lose hair. In some places that I found, it's saying that up to 30% of the clientele in hair loss clinics, hair clinics, and some of the complaints at the physicians' doctor's offices, pardon me, I haven't had my lunch yet, at doctor's offices for hair loss is coming from women. So now it's just something that's going to be pretty much affecting everybody because of how we live and what we're putting into our bodies and all these things. So our sedentary lifestyles are no longer working out for us, and hair is really important. It can really affect a person's confidence. I mean, I've read the Diane Ackerman, The Natural History of the Senses, and The Natural History of Love. It's a great book for Valentine's Day. Actually, it's up there. It's the red one, Natural History of Love. The Senses one is green. I love Diane Ackerman. But in any case, you know, she explains that hair is so important because it's historically and culturally, it's associated with youth, you know, health, good health, and fertility. So it's this idealized thing to have in a partner or to have in yourself. Now, of course, this isn't true for everyone. Some people look better bald. Some people don't really care. Some people are beautiful no matter what they do. You know, some people deliberately shave their heads and they're stunning. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's, you know, up to you. But if it's something that bothers you, that's probably wise, because we've always sort of told people that to have a luscious set of hair is like the thing you must have. You must have a partner that also has it, and so on and so on. So I mean, it's just down to how it makes you feel. If it's something that's been bumming you out, so according to Edgar Cayce, this can be helped. So now that we know what's doing it, here's the remedy given. The remedy is to rub crude oil into the scalp and massage twice a month. Exercise and have good gastric health. As I keep saying, you know, the trifecta of the Cayce remedies is going to be castor oil packs, thyroid health, and colonics and enemas. So good gastric health, good processes of elimination. Each time oil is applied and the head is massaged, cleanse in the same way with 20% solution of grain alcohol. So it has to be grain alcohol with water added. Now, I put an asterisk here for crude oil. It doesn't literally mean the oil you put into like a gas tank. The oil is not the gas station kind. I'm not trying to get in trouble. I researched and find crudolium scalp treatment on Amazon. It runs for about $20 Canadian, the one that I found, but there are other proposed remedies online which are completely natural. So one that I did find was coconut oil. If you go onto, you know, forums or groups, chat groups that are around the Cayce remedies, there's communities upon communities that do whatever this man would say, you know, and they will certainly have a remedy if you're interested in that. But the reason it's important is it actually, it's so sweet in the books. It even says if you have a spouse who cares enough to massage your head a couple times a week, it really, really helps, you know. So otherwise just do it yourself. But get head massages, You know, they say head scratches, you want to get a scratch before going to bed. Apply these oils and then rinse them off with grain alcohol, 20%, and then some water cut in, and rinse it off with that. Okay, alternatively, thyroid health is very important and can lead to hair loss. So taking iodine ore, I mentioned in the first video, for acne and skin conditions such as eczema, the importance of having a functioning thyroid. So atomic iodine, by its name, atomidine, it's said to only be taken under doctor's supervision. So in any case, go get some blood work done and see what's going on. And it's actually very sweet. It says, if you can, have a very supportive doctor, because I suppose he even understood back then to say, hey, I want my thyroid checked because my hair's falling. And they'd be like, who cares? You're fine. You know, and in that video too, I talk about my struggles with thyroid health. But in any case, iodine, okay, so I bought this one I'm using at the minute. 1 drop with every meal a day in a bit of water, but just 1 drop is quite strong. And so that's supposed to be quite helpful. Here we also have alternative. To use an oil cap, and this is so cute because it actually shows, you know, the time that this comes from, the time period that this was written, is people would just have this on standby. So use an oil cap, rub hog lard and massage into scalp, and it stresses pure hog lard, nothing cut with vegetable oil. Okay, so nothing cut with vegetable oil must be the real deal. Sleep overnight with this in your head and rinse the next day with pure olive oil shampoo. Massage afterwards with white Vaseline, cut with a little bit of that grain alcohol. And so the measurements are 1 drop of grain alcohol to 1 ounce of water, just enough to rinse the Vaseline out of hair. So then you rinse the Vaseline out with the same alcohol and water solution previously, and to do this once a week. Okay, he also does give recommendations for diet for hair loss, which he says the 3 most important things are going to be seafood, carrots, and onions and garlic. This one made me laugh so hard because my father's in his 70s. He has a full head of hair. No one really is bald in his side of the family at all. And I always jokingly say, you know, I'm Balkan. I can eat an onion like an apple. That's nothing to me. It's like a delicious treat, you know? And if a recipe's like, put 2 cloves of garlic for every pound of pasta you cook, I'm like, did you mean a head of garlic? Because you can't taste them. What's the point? I will never be attacked by a vampire. You know? So apparently it's really, really good for circulation. So it's very good for hair. And actually, if you pulverize an onion, so if you have like a food processor, a blender, if you can chop it finely enough, get the onion juices, really like strain them out and rub that into your scalp, you know, put some cling film or plastic bag over your head. That should stimulate hair growth. Okay, of course, rinse it and do your best to use natural, good quality shampoos. And that's rich coming from me because I love Head and Shoulders Green Apple. That's the only thing like I really adore. But I've recently switched to like a natural ginger shampoo. So, okay, next, eat. I absolutely love this, and I find this so funny. If you, I don't know, I just find this really funny because I never ever felt the egg white movement made any sense to me. I always thought it was crazy. I was like, why would I eat egg whites? Egg yolk is the best part of the egg, and my favorite food, apart from like just white bread, like baguette, is the egg yolk. If you were to say to me, Monika, what's your favorite food? I would say egg yolk. Like dipping bread into egg yolk is the best thing ever. But literally in the books, he says, so this is, boys and girls, trust your intuition. Eat the yolk, but not the white of the egg. I don't know why. I'm not sure that he explains it, but he says to eat the yolk, but not the white of the egg. And so if it's your first time here, I follow the instructions of Dr. Andreas Moritz for the liver flushes. And he also said that eggs are actually, they make the body more acidic. And so I eat the egg and the white, of course, but if I had to choose, I would completely dispense with the egg white, you know? So it's so funny. I'm not fully up to speed on why that is. I'd like to know the actual reason. I know Andreas Moritz did explain it, but I don't remember what it was. I heard it like 10 years ago. Carrots are stressed again, actually. Carrots are stressed in both of the books. So carrots are really, really important. So eating them, okay? So juicing them, maybe if you are kind of like not into carrots, you can grate them really finely and then sprinkle, I know you're not supposed to eat sugar, but maybe like a little bit of maple syrup on them and then eat them like a sweet treat. And then here it says no sugary sweets. Whoops. So I'm also very biased being Canadian. I love maple syrup. I think it's like a cure-all. I think it fixes anything. So no sugary sweets, sugar he says can affect hair growth. So here, elimination system must be running smoothly. So once again, he recommends enemas and colonics pretty much for most things, okay? For pain, for inflammation, for ovulation, fertility, cycles, everything is always going to be up there. And then to increase hair growth, I kid you not, this is sensational. He says vapor rub. So if your hair's thinning in the front and you want to bring some of it back, like Vicks Vapor Rub, take like a menthol vapor rub and rub it into the scalp. And then he also says rinsing hair with Listerine once a week will keep the hair in healthy condition. So if you think this is insane, and literally Listerine by its brand name, okay, as in the mouthwash, no, it's the real deal. He really means Listerine, because at the time that this was written, Listerine, I don't believe it would have been another 20 years where Listerine would go on to be recommended as a mouthwash. At the time that this was written, Listerine would have been, I think it could have been a mouthwash, but I think it was mainly advertised as a sterilizing solution for surgical implements. So it had a very high alcohol content. That's my impression. I could be wrong, but that makes sense to me, because he keeps saying rinse your hair with great alcohol, and now we've got Listerine by its name brand, like capital L. So I Googled it, and it turns out this happens to be true. So Listerine was just not commonly found as it is today at like a drug mart, you know, Walmart, your grocery store, telling you to wash your teeth out with it. So he said, yeah, just like go ahead and pour it on your head. Keep your scalp super, super healthy. So I always end these off with something from my own experience, something that I would like to add. I cannot attest for hair regrowth or hair loss. Well, I guess I can give you a little anecdote. I lost a bunch of hair last week and I was traumatized by it. I did one of those, what do they call? I don't know, they're the highlighting caps, right? And I've only done one once before, and I rinsed my hair out prior to pulling it. And I thought that was so painful. Next time I'm just going to pull it out dry because this hurt like H. And I did that. Oh my heavens, never do that. I lost handfuls of hair, not like 2, I mean like 12. Like I was bald in front. Like I literally thought I was gonna, actually I did, I cried in the shower because my hair I believe is really sensitive. Hair is really important. I prefer people with long hair. I prefer my future partner to have long hair. You know, hair is like a spiritual weapon. It's very, very, very important. This is my opinion. So to see it just like come out in clumps, not because it was bleached, because it was ripped from my head and it literally hurt, and I was just so like traumatized. So hair is really important to people. They identify with it strongly. So I can't, that's the only thing I've got for hair loss. So I mean, my friend messaged me and said, you know, just dunk it in rosemary oil water and try to get it to grow back. I was like, yeah, okay. So what I will say though is, for someone who is dyeing their hair so consistently, and I kid you not, I've had it dyed in several different countries around the world. I've gone to several different salons where I live now, and I'm not even exaggerating. I constantly get told, I cannot believe your hair isn't falling out. I cannot believe your hair doesn't break. I cannot believe you're not bald in front, Monica. Why is that? And I've always said the same thing. And no hairstylist really believes me, but it's what I eat. It's what I put into my body. When I was around 21, I read that, you know, animals that lived on farms that had access to dairy that was extremely, you know, like high fat content, not like 3% milk, like it's like pure cream, and animals that lived on avocado plantations, because avocados are really, it's pure fat, it's like nature's butter, they would have very shiny fur. So I thought, well, if I eat that every day, I'm going to have really shiny fur. So I was like 21, and this was my logic. And so every single day, I would start the day with like a tablespoon of butter, half an avocado. I can't have more than that at a time. Unfortunately, it turns out I do run a mild allergy to them. And one time I forgot that and drank an avocado smoothie, and my throat nearly completely closed up. So we live and learn all the things we do for hair. So avocados and butter and extra virgin olive oil. Like I literally drink olive oil. And if you're into Andreas Moritz, you'll know why. And actually in the Edgar Cayce things that I mentioned for acne in the first video, where I said there's some contradicting things. In one book it says to eat raw apples and the other one says never to eat raw apples. This is why. if you're eating raw apples, he says it's the only thing you should be eating. So raw apples should only be eaten on their own, as in literally for the duration of a whole day. So it's pretty much a mini fruit fast. And he says the only thing that you can have in combination with that at the end of the day, at nighttime, is a few spoons of olive oil. So olive oil is awesome. So I'm really, really somebody who, just from my own experience, I will say that eating a diet that has high, healthy fats, okay, in my early 20s, I also used to consume a lot of organic coconut oil. Okay, I would or avocado oil. So I used to eat really healthy fats. I don't mean like processed foods and things of that nature, but in my kitchen, you know, and a day wouldn't go by, especially in the winter, you can actually feel how much energy your body needs to keep warm. So I would consume these things, and I'm not joking you, my hair would just not go bad. It would just stay very healthy no matter what I did to it. You know, I did a lot of things to it. So in my experience, this happens to be true. To have shiny hair, you have to eat, you know, the things that nature gives us that are very, very beneficial for you, and at the right time, and then in the right quantities and things of that nature. So I hope that you found this helpful. I hope that you've enjoyed my little anecdote. That's what I do for hair, and I also find the less you do, the better. So in my early mid-20s, I didn't like the sort of amount of electricity that went into hair maintenance. So I just thought, okay, I can't not blow dry my hair. If I air dry it, I get headaches and things. So I thought, okay, if I'm doing that, then I just won't curl it. I won't do this. I won't do this. It's very, very rare that you'll see me with a really fancy hairstyle because I blow dry my hair. I only wash it twice a week, and I don't fuss around it so much. I think it's better left alone, and then it'll find its like grooves. So I just think just leave it sometimes. It needs a break. It needs some rest. Be gentle to it. Be gentle with it. You know, get the right things to brush it with and to appreciate it. And yeah, I hope you found this helpful. Next, we're going to address hypothyroidism, hemorrhoids, and ovulation, you know, things such as spotting and pelvic floor things, women's reproductive organs. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you for getting readings on my Etsy and showing up to the lives on TikTok. We always have such a fun time. Thank you for asking the questions, whether they're public or not. It doesn't matter. The point is to circulate the knowledge, to share the wealth. So thank you all so much once again, and I'll see you next time. I love you all. Bye-bye.